Hey guys, in today's video we want to look at two fairly new extra low profile retrofit piston kits designed for the AR15 family of rifles. We're going to compare the Syrac Ordnance low profile retrofit kit to the new Adams Arms extra low profile piston kit. We want to look at the strengths and weaknesses of each system. Our job is not to tell you that one system is good and one system is bad. Once again, I'm a consumer. What I'd like to do in this video is to give you an objective, realistic review of each of these products and let you decide for yourself which features are most important for you and which of these products you might want to use in your next build. So let's look at what comes in each kit. This is the new Adams Arms extra low profile piston kit, and basically this is what comes in the kit, plus you get a little instructional DVD, and what we have is the adjustable gas block, low profile with 3 screws. It also has a little starter area if you did want to put a taper pin and pin this to your barrel. Then the piston rod and the spring. The bolt carrier with a flat face, one-piece design. Also includes a bushing for your upper receiver. This is going to go in the area where the gas tube would normally go, and you have to drive that in, and this is the device used to drive that in. It helps guide that in straight. And Adams Arms includes a bolt spring. Now, the Syrac Ordnance kit. These are the contents of that kit. You have the adjustable gas block. That screw, as you tighten it inside the gas block, will restrict some of the gas flow. The 3 screws to attach it to the gas block area of the barrel. The piston is retained inside the gas block, and then the piston rod is not tapered, it's all one diameter. The bolt carrier has a cup design to interact with the piston rod. Once again, a one-piece design. And so that's what you get in these two kits. So let's look real closely at the kits. We'll talk about the similarities and differences between these two kits. We did a recent video looking at the Syrac Ordnance retrofit kit and compared the weight of this kit to the direct impingement parts that it replaces. And we found that by using this kit, you can convert an AR15 to a piston-driven system and add about 1.5 ounces. So today, let's look at the Syrac Ordnance kit and compare that to the extra low profile Adams Arms kit. We can start by looking at the weight. Let's take the Adams Arms bolt carrier. It's a very nice bolt carrier. Has a flat face that interacts with the piston rod. A melanite finish, smooth. Machining. Has the skis on the back. And if we weigh the bolt carrier, it weighs in at 9.4 ounces. That's for the Adams Arms bolt carrier. The Syrac bolt carrier we weighed the other day and was also 9.4 ounces. So the bolt carriers for both of these systems weigh exactly the same. the Syrac, if we take the piston rod, the gas block, basically the rest of the system, and we weigh that, that weighs in at 3.7 ounces. The gas block, rod, spring and bushing for the Adams Arms extra low profile kit weighs in at 8.1 ounce. You also have the bushing and the spring. If we add those in, we're talking about 8.2 ounces. So the remainder of the parts using the Adams Arms kit is 8.2 ounces compared to the 3.7 ounces of the Syrac Ordnance. So the Syrac kit weighs a total of 12.7 ounces. The total weight of the Adams Arms kit, 17.6 ounces. So the Syrac Ordnance kit is 4.9 ounces lighter. Now, a couple of critical dimensions that we should look at when we're talking about a retrofit system. These gas blocks have to fit under hand guards. The piston drive system has to fit under a hand guard. And a critical dimension is going to be the diameter, the outside diameter of the gas block and the piston cup. And if we look at these systems, 0.41 inches. Most rails that I've seen have about a 0.5 inch clearance. 0.42. So as far as the dimension along the upper portion of the gas block and the piston cup on both of these systems, 0.42 inches, 0.41 inches. So this area should fit inside a lot of different hand guards that are out there in the market. Another dimension that's critical to look at is the height above the barrel. We have about 6.2 inches. Okay, so we have 6.2 inches for the Adams Arms system. So the top is going to be 0.62 inches. The Syrac Ordnance about the same, 0.62 inches. So the height from the top of the barrel to the top of this system for both of these is 0.62 inches. Now another area to look at is the shape of the shoulders. If you look at these two gas blocks, you can see that the Syrac is much smaller, thinner, and there's where the weight difference comes in. Now the shape of the shoulder too, you can see where this was 0.41 inches in outside diameter, and you can see how the shoulder, if you will, stays narrow over a longer distance compared to the shoulder of the gas block for the Adams Arms. So this shoulder area may interfere when you have to put this in a hand guard and fit it under the hand guard. You might find that the area that gives you problems is the width of this shoulder. So that is a difference. The shape of the shoulders makes a difference. The website for Adams Arms does, I believe, has a list of compatible hand guards. But looking at this, obviously you would have the smaller, lighter gas block with a narrower shoulder that is more likely to fit under a wider variety of hand guards. So besides differences in weights and dimensions, there are several differences in designs that I'd like to review with you. The Syrac, obviously is lighter, is a lighter design, but it's less robust. So when you compare these two, let's take this off. So looking at just the gas blocks, a difference in design that's readily apparent. The Syrac Ordnance is a lighter design. The Adams Arms is a heavier, more robust design. So you have that one difference. And which is more important? Do you want the heavier, more robust design at the cost of a little additional weight, or would you really like the lightweight, lower profile design of the Syrac Ordnance? So just another difference between these two systems. Also a difference, this is the Syrac Ordnance gas block, and the Syrac Ordnance gas block requires a special tool. They have this really long Allen wrench, and remember to adjust this plug would be in the front here, but to adjust this you have to use the Allen wrench and tighten this screw. There are nice little detents. Hopefully you can see those detents there. And so there are obvious clicks to help you index how tight or loose you're making this. But it does require a special tool, whereas the Adams Arms gas block has 5 different positions. It's adjusted by hand. If you go all the way to the right, that is positive. That's the most opened position. And then as you do clicks, you're taking more and more gas away and setting a lower gas setting. And it can be done without special tools. So one difference between the system is one requires a Allen wrench to adjust, and one is adjustable by hand. Also, I think it's an advantage to be able to look at this and visually tell what gas setting you're on. You might be able to, over time, know that a certain ammunition is going to require a certain gas setting, or shooting with a suppressor. You can do a quick visual check and tell what setting this is on as compared to the Syrac Ordnance. If it's been several weeks or months before you've shot the gun, you may not remember exactly where you've left the adjustment for the gas. You can always start by going all the way down and then doing a certain number of clicks out, and just adjusting it every time that you go out to shoot if you're not sure. So another difference between these two systems. Another difference that I think is very significant in design, the Syrac, you have the spring, the piston rod, the spring, and this is held captive in the gas block. And here's the plug. This has to go all the way in, and then this will be left in the down position. After you screw it all the way tight, you back it out so that the opening is down at 6 o'clock. And the advantage here is that you can remove the plug, remove the piston and spring from the front of the gun. And so if you have a handguard that's covering all of this, you'll be able to take this, disassemble this and clean it and reassemble it if you desire that. So that's another difference. With the Adams Arms system, the gas block is attached to the barrel. The piston cup rides over the gas block spigot. And once this is assembled, you can't get to the rod and piston cup area. This is designed to be self-cleaning, so I don't know how much of a issue that really is, but it's just a difference between the two. You can take this plug out and get inside the gas block to do some cleaning or maintenance if you need to. To do that, you simply turn this up to the 12 o'clock position and press the release button, and it will come out. And so you can get to the inside of the gas piston, but you just can't take the rod and the piston cup out for cleaning once this is mounted without removing the gas block itself or the hand guards. So keep that in mind. That's just another difference. The Adams Arms kit comes with a steel bushing, and the idea here is the piston rod is going to be coming through where the gas tube would normally come. So with the Adams Arms system, you place the steel bushing inside the receiver in the area where the gas piston rod is going to be. They do include a application tool to help you get this aligned. You go inside the receiver and you hammer this bushing into the upper receiver. So the bushing is in the upper receiver at that point, so it does change the upper receiver. Once again, that's just a design difference that you need to be aware of. Now with the Syrac system, the idea here is that because the piston and piston rod are held captive, then you don't need a spring or a bushing to interact with the barrel nut of your build. And this will go through the receiver and will mate to the bolt carrier. And you can see there's a cup design. And so with this design, it is supposed to be self-centering. As the bolt carrier comes back forward, this is supposed to be a self-centering design. You can see that the rod itself is rounded and the bolt carrier is concave, so that these two will mate and self-center, and therefore Syrac Ordnance says that you do not need to put a bushing in your upper receiver. Now, one issue about this particular design is that your spring, your return spring for your piston, is inside the gas block. So in this system, the spring, the return spring for your piston is inside the gas block. And that spring is going to be exposed to hot gases, debris, and heat that the Adams Arms return spring, which is in the back of the rod, interacts with the barrel nut, is not exposed to the gas, the debris, and the heat that the return spring in the Syrac Ordnance system is exposed to inside this piston cup. So there again, just another difference to consider. The advantage to placing the spring in this system, having a captive rod, is that this Syrac Ordnance system is not dependent on a military spec barrel nut being part of your build. And the Adams Arms system is designed so that this bushing will interact with the barrel nut and cause the right amount of compression during the cycling. So the Adams Arms system is dependent on that dimension being the same as a military spec barrel nut. So that does limit this system somewhat. So there's an advantage in that the spring is not associated with an area where there's heat and debris, but there's a disadvantage in that it does depend on, or it does rely on, a military spec barrel nut. So advantages and disadvantages both ways. There again, the intent is to show you the difference and let you decide which one best fits your needs. The other difference in the kits between the Adams Arms kit and the Syrac kit is that Adams Arms does include this bolt spring. This is a small spring that goes behind the bolt inside the bolt carrier, and it causes there to be a little forward tension in the bolt and theoretically helps with the unlocking process in a piston system. I do like this idea. These springs can be purchased and put in any piston system just about that I've found, but it is included in the Adams Arms system and is not included in the Syrac system. Our intent was just to show you the differences in weights, designs, features, so that you can make an informed decision about which of these kits interest you the most. They're both excellent quality kits. Now, they're both also very new designs, and I have not taken these out in the field to test those, and that is in the future. I have used a lot of Adams Arms products in the past and have had very good results. I probably have about 15 rifles that have Adams Arms piston kits, the old style, but I have not had any with this new style. We will test this in the future and we'll report back to you about that. Syrac Ordnance is actually owned by the guy that started and designed the initial Adams Arms products. So I certainly expect that this will be a very durable design as well, but both of these products are yet to be proven in the field. If you found the video useful, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.